Hi, everyone. I'm Maggie McCauley, the Executive Director of the Peaceful Project, and welcome to our mini workshop where you can learn about freedom to be and embracing life experience for LGBTQ youth. So this course is happening the weekend of October 17th through 18th, and it is open to LGBTQ youth, say between the ages of 14 and 25, along with their family members and those in the community who work with LGBTQ youth. That can include teachers, guidance counselors, GSA leaders, coaches, therapists, and those who work for organizations that are in support of the LGBTQ community. So thank you for being here today on this short and hopefully sweet mini workshop where you get a taste of freedom to be. Now, I've recorded this one for those of you who couldn't make the live mini workshops. And so I'm providing my email address at the very end of the workshop so that you can email me any questions that you might have. So feel free to ask away. And I love this quote by Mandy Hawk, who is the author of Proud Empowerment, the very first personal development book for LGBTQ youth, and the founder of Cosmic Unicorns, where she's just released an amazing book that is very diverse and inclusive and customizable. So she said freedom to be is an eye-opening course that gives you tools to overcome conflict, create closer relationships, and understand the conflicting ways we sometimes unconsciously behave. I took this course with our eldest daughter, and it helped us move through disagreements and brought us so much closer. So I want to send out a big thank you to the Broward Sheriff's Office for the grant that is allowing us to provide freedom to be for free. This is normally a $500 course. Along with the weekend of training, you'll receive a book, a workbook, and a certificate of completion, as well as a coaching call prior to the course to help you identify and define and refine your goals, what you'd like to gain from attending, and then a follow-up private coaching call with one of the course leaders after the course is over to cover anything that you'd like to talk about. All of those items will be mailed to you through the United States Postal Service because this is a virtual course. We are very excited about the virtual Freedom to Be for LGBTQ youth. And so we're asking that you please register as early as possible and hopefully by September 30th. We know the Postal Service has been a little bit slow lately, and we want to make sure that you have your workbook and all the inserts for your workbook with you when we begin at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on Saturday the 17th. So today I'm going to cover two concepts that we go over in the course. There are many, many more concepts between these two and after them. These are just to give you a little flavor of the kind of work that we do and the kind of concepts that we introduce. Be aware that each of these concepts are introduced, and then there is an experience that everybody has in practicing them. So this course is not listening to a lecture or listening to one of the three instructors talk. It is a presentation of a concept, a discussion about that concept, and then an experience of actually using the concept. So I'm going to begin with one of, I think, the foundational concept of freedom to be, and that's the concept of open and closed. I like to use this quote from Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl was a psychiatrist, and he was also imprisoned in a concentration camp during World War II. The fascinating thing about Viktor Frankl is he actually found a purpose for living, even under those horrible, horrible circumstances that he was in. And he wrote a book called Man's Search for Meaning, which I highly recommend. And in that book, he tells the story of his experience in the concentration camp. His quote is, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. So a stimulus could be an event. It could be someone saying something, someone doing something, witnessing something. And then there is your response to what you've heard or witnessed or experienced. And in between that event or stimulus and your response, there is a space. When that space is very, very narrow, we don't have much flexibility. We tend to see things in polarities like right and wrong, win or lose. Those are our only options that we see when we're in that narrow space. And we tend to walk away from encounters when we respond from that narrow space, which is like a knee-jerk reaction. We walk away thinking, oh my God, why did I say that? Or why did I do that? I'm sure you've had that experience. I know I have. So when we widen that space between stimulus and response, though, we have a lot more flexibility. We have a lot of creativity. We see a myriad of options that are available to us, a lot of opportunities, a lot of choices, not just win or lose, right or wrong. There are many things in between those two polarities, and we're not, when that space is wide, operating from polarities. We're operating in that middle of that space. So when we widen that space, that is where we have our authority. That is where we gain our power to choose our response. And that is where our growth and our freedom lies. That is really where we are in the driver's seat of our life. So when we introduce this concept in Freedom to Be, we talk about what the behavior is when you're closed. What does it look like? What does it feel like? And you can really feel it in your body. I'm sure you've had a conversation with someone and all of a sudden it goes off the rails or spirals down. Your heartbeat may increase. You may feel tight across your chest. You may feel something in your stomach. There is a physical response to being in that closed space or operating from closed. And so we go, what is your closed? What does that look like? What exactly is behind that closed? What are you protecting yourself from? Or what are you trying to avoid that you shut down? And then we explore open. What does the open look like when that space is really wide? So here is where we begin to look inside ourselves, because Freedom to Be is an inward journey of looking inside of yourself. And here is where we begin with the concept of open and close. We refer back to this concept throughout the weekend when we talk a lot about other ideas as well. We take a dive into trust, into empathy and compassion and holding space. And our feelings, what do our feelings mean? What are feelings? How do we feel them? What can we gain from feeling our feelings? We also take a look at blame and what blame looks like, from rolling our eyes or going to our tone of voice, which brings me to the next concept that I'm going to introduce you to today, and that's how we approach tone of voice. Because when we're talking to people, they hear our tone of voice more over the words. All right. And sometimes if you get an off response from someone, it's not because of the words that you've used. It's because of the tone that you've used. So the way that we view tone of voice is that tone is the verbal expression of a feeling. We may not even know that we're having that feeling, but it is conveyed through the tone of our voice. So by noticing your tone of voice, becoming aware of it, it will radically improve your communication. It will also be a guide for you to know, are you in integrity? Do your thoughts, feelings, and actions line up? Is there some underlying belief that's driving you? Are you triggered in this conversation? Are you responding from your stated values, from a place of Joyful responsibility. Are you responding in alignment with your goals and your intentions? So the tone of voice and monitoring your own tone of voice, not monitoring someone else's, but monitoring your own tone of voice can give you a wealth of insights. So let's take a look at one tone, and that is the frustrated tone. So what I'd like you to do is think of the last time you felt frustrated. And the last time you used a frustrated tone with someone, what was the response that you got? So, because underneath that frustrated tone, what we're really saying is things outside me, things outside my control block me. And I have tried everything. For instance, if my manager, if I use a frustrated tone in talking about my manager, for instance, I have done everything to get this job done, and she is never satisfied. She doesn't like my approach, and I have tried everything. You can hear the frustration. Okay. If I'm saying that to her, if I'm saying something to my spouse or partner like, I have cleaned this kitchen 15 times today. I don't know what else to do. You can hear the blame that if only you took more responsibility, my life would be great. If only you were in more control, you wouldn't be blocking me from some sense of serenity or happiness. So the interesting thing too about the frustrated tone is that we use frustration to justify quitting prior to full effort. Now give that a little consideration. Have you ever really quit a job or ended a relationship without feeling frustrated? Maybe, but think about when you did. Frustration allows us to justify quitting prior to full effort. So when we use a frustrated tone, we actually are in that very narrow space where we only see they are blocking me, I have to quit. Those are the only two alternatives there. So by noticing your tone, what you get to do is widen that space so that you see a lot of other things that you can do. That's where your full effort lies, in that wide space. So that I find that fascinating. I hope you do too. Tone of voice is something that we take a deep dive into in Freedom to Be, and we cover a lot of tones. I think it's a transformational exercise. So those are the two concepts that I wanted to introduce you to today. And again, we do a lot more over that weekend. And again, there's a lot of discussion. We break into small groups, we break into partnerships. It's going to be a very fun and active, experiential, interactive course. There are 3 instructors in this course. It includes Sarah Afshari from San Diego, Dan Civils from Branson, Missouri, and me from New Mexico. And we are very excited to work together and to work with you. So if you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to email me at maggie@thepeacefulproject.org. I want to give you the steps to register if you're ready to go out there and do that. So because this is a free course and because we cap the number of people who attend, so it is a close course, we are asking for a $50 totally refundable donation made out to the Peaceful Project. Following the course, it will be totally refunded to you. We just are looking for a way to ensure that those people who sign up show up so that no one is excluded who would like to attend. So if you would go to www.thepeacefulproject.org and click on donate and make your $50 donation, again, it's totally refundable, that will hold your space. If you would then email me your mailing address at maggie@thepeacefulproject.org, that's the address that I'll use to mail all of your materials to you. We will also be in touch with you to schedule your pre-course call with one of the 3 course leaders. So thank you for joining me today. It's been great presenting this to you. I hope that's helpful and gives you a bit of a feel for freedom to be an embracing life experience for LGBTQ youth. Do know that we have a community. It is not simply please take this course and then bam, bye. It is we have a lot of follow-up stuff, and we are there for everyone who attends to call on us at any time, and we have a community of people that you can call on. So we've developed a lot of close friendships through this course, and I hope that you'll join us so that you can do the same. Thanks so much. Bye.